Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
Afternoon. Midday.
I'm tired, folks.
Welcome
back.
This. Oh yeah. Welcome back.
This is a podcast.
Yes, a weekend podcast because we're tired.
Yes.
I'm Andrew.
I'm Lewis.
I'm Alex. I'm Brennan.
And we got everybody here tonight.
We got everybody. We got Gavin.
Hey, pitch it.
Gavin and Brendan in the other room.
You might have heard that.
Bryson's freshening up. He'll be out soon.
Nice
He's in the dressing room. This is Bass Now Radio from Lake Cumberland.
Yes, the shores. Literally, actually.
Literally the shores, yeah. The lake is like right there.
Yeah.
You guys can't see it, but it's there.
Yeah.
We're here for the Bassmaster College Series event. Stop number 2.
Sure are.
/3. Should be 3, but it's 2.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say about this place. It's different.
It's cool.
It's different.
It's cool.
It's gorgeous, but it's hard.
Definitely pretty lake.
It's different than what we're used to, but it's a gorgeous lake.
That it is.
What was your opinion on it?
Well spoken.
What do you got?
So, being our second time here, this is our second time in the past really 6 months.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really crazy. The thing that's like mind-boggling about this lake is how much it changes within 6 months.
Yeah.
I mean, we were looking at pictures earlier today when we were here in October, and I mean, the water is what, probably 15 foot higher than it was back then, at least. And I mean, I don't know how the fish react to it. I mean, what are your guys' thoughts on that? Do you think they just are used to it? I mean, that's just like what they do.
I'll put my input in on this before you do. I think definitely that they're used to it. I definitely think that they, I don't know. I guess saying living in an area, you get used to the people around it, and I guess you could say that for these fish. Well, Lewis, what do you think?
Wow, that was great podcasting, Alex.
That was good. You're on natural over here.
I think they're used to it. I think this is how they live. I think this is just part of what what they do. Especially with like the smallmouth and spots, which are, if you combine smallmouth and spots, I think you got well over 50% of the bass in the lake. And I think they are very, not so much used to it, but kind of, they don't care. The largemouth, on the other hand, being more bank oriented, I think they kind of care, but largemouth just kind of go up and down with the water level. And the one thing about this lake that's very different is that when the water comes down, which I believe it actually is, I think it's down about 5 foot in the last month. I looked at the water charts before I came here. They don't really have anything to pull off to. It's not like a Tennessee River Lake or a North Carolina lake or a Lake Hartwell, where when the water falls, those fish can fall off to a point or a hump. When the water falls here, it falls vertically. Mm-hmm. Like there's no backup point or hump or anything like that. So I don't think largemouth suspend. I think they just kind of go up and down with the water level, and that might be part of why it's been, for me at least, a little tougher to locate the largemouth. I feel like it's been that way for all of us.
Yeah, I'd agree with that 100%.
Yeah, the place I've found largemouth here have not exactly been areas where you get that vertical like drop. Like they're more sloped stuff where it actually like you create like bank as you go up and down still.
Right.
So
largemouth deal
that's
is
my opinion on it.
To get into this tournament, the largemouth deal has been very hard for me personally to try and figure out.
Yeah, I don't know what is going to play. I still think that some guys are going to have mixed bags.
Yeah.
Yeah, you feeling mixed bags
Definitely.
too?
Yeah. There's going to be a lot of people, if not 99% of people, who do have mixed bags just because it's so hard to target and catch. Not so hard, but it's a tall task to go out there and catch 5 18-inch smallmouth.
Yeah,
that's you gotta.
Fall, it was what was it? It was
12 on everything.
12 all around.
Yeah, I think it's definitely gonna be a lot harder to find an 18-inch bass.
Yeah.
Bass,
So your safe play would be to go for largemouth, but I think your top end guys are going to be very smallmouth heavy. I mean, very, like 4 out of 5. So I'd say 8 or 9 out of 10 of the winning bag will be smallmouth. I'd be surprised if it was otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, with the 18-inch limit on smallmouth, those are all really big smallmouth, especially during spawn.
They're all 3-pounders.
Yeah, like
2 3/4, 3-pounders.
You catch 5 18-inch smallmouth, you're already looking at 15.
You're looking at 14 and a half, but yeah. 14,
Oh yeah, I'm
15
sorry, I
pounds.
was off by half a pound.
You're looking at 14.
My bad.
Well, I'm just saying this because I think they do weigh a little bit less than we think. I caught one that was about 20 inches the other day that went 3 1/4. And I was shocked that it was that light. I thought it was a 3 1/2 all day long.
Did he look skinny though? Because we've caught some that you're like, okay, that's a skinny fish.
It
And
just-
then others, it's like a little bit healthier, but not like a normal.
It looked like a typical smallmouth from here. Not crazy skinny, but, you know.
I mean, I caught a balloon the first day.
Well, was a keeper.
God no, it was 10 inches, but it was round.
The big ones seem to squash and go this way.
Yeah.
That's what I've seen.
Yeah, the little ones go out. Oh, look at Bryson's out of the dressing room. He's ready to join the podcast.
Bryson.
Oh God! Oh God!
Hey, there we go.
Bring him back in.
Come on.
Come say hi at least. Come say hi at least.
Bryson.
5 minutes. 5 minutes.
Folks, the one and only Bryson Hendricks
How you doing?
has been featured once before on this here podcast. What are your thoughts, buddy?
I want to go home. I want to go home bad. I'm struggling really bad. I don't know what's happening. This is probably one of the first successful smallmouth trips I've ever had. Successful as in
wants to go home.
as in catching like probably a 3-pounder. I
All
call
right,
that a
all right,
success.
let me chime in here.
Yeah.
He's upset because he's been catching like 2.5 pound smallies all week. Normally, that's pretty fun. I mean, in my eyes, that's a good time. But it is
It's hard to
frustrating.
find a keeper because it's like you
It is very frustrating.
have 10 pounds like that, but you don't.
Yeah.
I mean,
you know?
normally if you catch a 16-inch smallmouth, it's a lot of fun. But then on tournament day, it does you no good. And then
Exactly.
The one and only E Ion looks like he wants to get in on this. Come on, buddy.
no, it's not 5.
What?
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Howdy, folks.
What do you think?
Well, it's been pretty crap. I I don't know where the fish are. I whacked a log. Life is great. At least the food's good. Thanks, Brennan.
One-handed chef over here. We can talk about that later.
So, what do you think it's going to take to win and to qualify? We'll go around the room.
Qualify 15 pounds a day.
Okay. Win.
Win, I don't know, probably 18 a day.
Okay.
You come in with a fat sack of smallies, it's gonna be every bit of 15.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna stick with him on the 18-ish to win. You catch 18 pounds both days, I think you can do it. But I'm gonna go a little lower on the qualifying. I'm gonna say probably 12 pounds a day will help you out here. I don't know what y'all think about that. I know it's a little low, but I know how the fishing's been. 18-inch smallmouth's big, and I think that's what I think it's gonna take 5 smallmouth both days to win and to qualify, maybe. But we'll see.
All right, and let's keep in mind here, I was dead on at Hartwell. Let's keep that in mind here. I'm going to say 13 1/4 a day to qualify. So that'd be 26 and a half to qualify. And I'm going to say 17 and change. So like 34 to 35 pounds wins the tournament for 2 days.
Well, I'm going to go below you on qualifying. I think 12 and a half qualifies. 12 and a half qualifies. I think 19 a day wins.
Wow.
I think there's going to be two to three teams in the field that are on them.
Somebody's
And
gonna
they
find
come in
them.
with a sack.
Somebody always finds them.
I can tell you, I'm not one of the 3.
It's gonna be close.
All right, you're up.
I kind of agree with all of you guys. So, I mean, I think to qualify, I'd like to say it's going to be closer to 13 pounds. Because, I mean, if somebody's chasing smallies, they're going to have, at 18 inches, they're going to have close to 14. I mean, it's going to be more than that most likely. But
So you imagine,
seeing the largemouth bite, if someone can figure out the largemouth bite, then maybe they can come in with 5 fish for less than that. But I mean, I think it'll take that to qualify. I mean, to win it, I think somebody's going to have a 20-pound bag. I think someone can do it. I mean, it's.
I disagree with both days having 20 pounds.
No, not both days. Not both days.
So what do you say for winning weight?
Winning weight, I think probably like 37. Yeah. I'm going high, but.
All right. So here's my thing with the against the high weights. I think the smallmouth here, I'm talking about for the 90%, the large majority top out at about 3.5, maybe 3 3/4 pounds. I think you're going to have an extremely hard time catching 18.5 plus of smallmouth. That being said, I think somebody could potentially go way somewhere back in the creek, up in the river, and bust a sack of largemouth. But I think that's the only way you're going to see heavyweight, and I think that's going to be really hard to replicate. So that's why I'm saying I'm sticking with my 34.5, 17 and change a day.
I dig.
Yeah, I could do it. I agree. I couldn't do it, but I agree.
He said he could do it. He said he could do it.
I can't do it. We're going to try, but I don't know about that.
Well, that's our predictions. Now let's talk some stories.
Before we talk, I have a gripe.
What do you got? What's your gripe? Oh God, here we go. What's the gripe?
I have a rare gripe with Bassmaster.
Oh
God.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I'm tuning in for this one.
I have a rare gripe with Bassmaster, the College Series.
I think I know what you're talking about.
I love you, Hank. I got a gripe with you. I got gripes. Gripe number. I got multiple gripes. Wow. Gripe number one.
God, he's grumpy tonight. Oh my goodness.
We can talk about worldly bass fishing stuff when we're back in studio and it's normal. Normally. But I will say I'm kind of ticked off about the fact that junior and high school national championship got announced today and college was not.
Yeah.
The college guys are the guys who are working, who have class, who have
a life
to
plan around.
And we're after the high school guys. I don't like that one bit. That's gripe number one.
Do you think it has anything to do with the rescheduled tournament schedule?
I don't think
with them delaying one of the tournaments. Maybe they're running into other issues.
I would normally say yes, but there's 2 tournaments after that.
Yeah.
But that does make a point. I don't know. I feel like they should have been working on this before that happened, though.
Yeah.
That's what I'll say.
Definitely.
So that's my first gripe. My second gripe is the state limit is 12 inches on spotted bass.
I knew it.
Why can't we keep 12-inch spotted bass? Why did that get raised to 15? Like, for what? I'm sorry, Hank. I'm coming at you here. I love you. But in the pre-tournament meeting, you're like, yeah, we raised the spotted bass limit to 15 inches. What? Why?
Every college kid in the crowd is just shaking their head.
Why? I get 18 inches on smallmouth, legal limit, whatever. 15 on largemouth, legal limit, whatever. The legal limit on spots is 12 inches. Why are we just raising it to 15 arbitrarily?
If it was up to me, we'd make it 6 so I could come in with a limit.
I don't get it. Damn. I don't understand that, to be honest with you. Does anyone have any kind of light to shed on this potentially?
Okay, well, national championship. I don't know why they always take so long. Every single year it's like this. This is nothing new for us in terms of that. Spotted bass, the only thing I can think of is that they literally didn't want to try and argue whether or not a bass was a largemouth or a spot here.
I think that's a really good point.
That is a valid point because, I mean, the first day, it was a tiny fish, but I caught it. I'm like, what is this thing? I took a picture of it to show you guys.
Yeah.
I can't even identify this because it looked like a largemouth / smallmouth / I don't know what. It had weird coloration. I mean, I couldn't tell what it was. And then Lewis over here, he's the genius. I mean, I don't know. This guy's a fish guru, but he said it's a spotted bass. I'm like, okay, and now I see it in the head, but still, they're weird looking fish.
Here would be my comment to that, and I'll let you go. They're putting all this emphasis on text track, right? Everybody should be putting in the text track. Why don't you have freaking send a picture of your bass to check and see what kind of species it is track? That could solve that problem. Have Gene Gilliland, the conservation guy, on hand. You send a picture. He says it's that, and you go with that. You weigh it in as such. That's what I have to say.
I mean, yeah, it could work.
That's like if you catch a meanmouth, what do you say? Because you're in between two limits here. If it's half spot, half largemouth, and half smallie, what do you say? Is it counted as a smallie or is it counted as a largemouth or spot?
I think you go spot. You go spot. Or no, I'm sorry. You go largemouth, 15 inches. Anything in question is 15 inches, is what I'd say. But those are my gripes.
Does anyone else have anything to add?
Gripes?
Before, I don't have any gripes, but before we jump into stories, let's say winning baits.
Oh, okay, all right.
Nice job.
Nice time. He's on it tonight.
He's gunning for my job. He's gunning for my job. We'll do it again. Start with Ian.
Oh boy. I think a lot of the offshore guys are throwing a Ned rig from what I've seen on the college Instagram page. But I think it's gonna be something funky. I think it's gonna be, I don't know, maybe some guys up shallow catch them on a wake bait for like spawning largemouth or just something weird.
I like that.
If largemouth are caught, it's gonna be something funky.
I like it.
We're going 1 or 2 baits.
Whatever you see.
Yeah, whatever you see fit.
I know everybody's throwing a spinnerbait. I definitely think a spinnerbait will have some play in this weekend's tournament. However, I think Shaky Head might do it. I hate to throw that out there, but I think a Shaky Head may.
You're saying your bait over the winning bait. So you think
No. I'm not saying I'm gonna win. I think the Shaky Head might do it for somebody though. I'm having a little bit of confidence in the Shaky Head.
Okay.
If that doesn't do it, it's gonna be between a chatterbait and a spinnerbait. Always between a chatterbait. That's what won it on Hartwell. It
is.
The
hottest
chatterbait.
bait
You
in the
just
world.
you just can't beat a chatterbait right now. So that's my top 3, if you will.
I've been catching a fish on a chatterbait too. So.
I'm going to say winning baits. I kind of like the idea of somebody busting largemouth. That being said, I don't think it's going to happen. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to say if it's one on largemouth, it's going to be one on 2 things. A buzzbait or a Texas rig. If it's one on smallmouth, I'm going to say, God, it's hard. That is hard, man. Because there's so many ways to catch them right now. Everybody's throwing a spinnerbait and going spinnerbait.
I don't think you're gonna be this answer's you're gonna love this. All right, I'm going smallmouth. I don't think largemouth are gonna play. Like I think you're gonna see some big largemouth. I don't think they're gonna play. I think qualifying largemouth. Let's go with that. I think the winning teams are gonna be throwing a shaky head. I agree with your shaky head, and I also think that you're gonna see a team that fishes in Kentucky or up north like a Bemidji that's throwing a hair jig. And it's going to catch him on a hair jig.
Potentially.
It's something the fish have not seen a lot of this week.
I think we've talked
I'm willing to bet.
We've talked too little about what Ian talked about. I think Ned Rig is going to play.
I agree with that. That's where I was going to go is, I mean, from experience we've had, I think some fish would bite a Ned Rig over a shaky head just because of the size. The spinnerbait, I think, will be a real key factor. The amount of people throwing it, somebody's going to run into the fish. I mean,
yeah, that's what I'm thinking with it.
Where they're biting it, the next day they didn't seem to touch it, and they wanted a swim bait. But, I mean, I think the amount of people throwing it, I think the spinnerbait will definitely have a key factor. Now, matter of quality, I don't know which one over the other, but I think a Ned Rig will definitely fill out limits. I think that'll be a big limit filler with smallmouth especially.
Mm-hmm. to Ian's point, I'm going to say for the offshore guys, it played last time. I think it'll play again. The Carolina rig.
Get out of here.
Random question. All right, so we're going back to this chatterbait, spinnerbait thing. When do you throw what over what?
Oh.
Because I don't know. I kind of personally get them. I mean, I don't get them mixed up, but I feel like they're both kind of versatile baits, if you will. But what do you pick a spinnerbait over a chatterbait? And that just came to my head. It's kind of random. So what do y'all have for that?
Gavin's got something. He's shaking his head.
Gavin, you want to come on in here and
Oh, here we go.
speak your mind, Gavin?
Gavin's coming in.
Personally, here, I'm picking the spinnerbait when I'm in the wind, and I mean chatterbait, good close quarters. I mean, I love bringing it by laydowns and logs, just stuff like that. So, not the spinnerbait can't do that, but
Okay.
Yeah, I was
Great insight.
That's about what I was gonna say. I think the spinnerbait in the wind, and I think the chatterbait not in the wind, because I don't know how these guys have gotten bites on I don't know how you've gotten them, but I haven't gotten a spinnerbait bite that wasn't in the wind. Like when it's been dead calm, nothing.
Okay.
like Brandon always throws a chatterbait on baiting just because of the grass, just like here throwing it up in the trees, it just comes right through. You can't do that with a spinnerbait.
All right. On this topic, I'll put in my 2 cents. The first, you guys are gonna hate this. The first deterrent of when I'm gonna throw a spinnerbait or a chatterbait, when I feel like throwing one over the other.
Great answer.
If I want to get technical with it, I tend to see myself throwing a spinnerbait a lot more around rock. I don't know why that is. I feel like I like a spinnerbait more around rock and more when it's deeper. I feel like a spinnerbait is more able to call fish up from the deep than a chatterbait, whereas a chatterbait is a better shallow water bait. That's how I look at
I
it.
definitely agree with that. I mean, the spinnerbait's got a lot of thump between the two blades, more flash. Yeah, it calls the fish in farther.
Yeah. So these are my thoughts. I think the spinnerbait bite comes more when maybe a fish is chasing bait. So if they're on a point, if they're around the rocks, like you're saying, personally, I'd like to throw a chatterbait around something that's gonna react to it. Maybe just ambush it from a bush or something like that. That's when I really like a chatterbait. But also the water clarity is a thing where, for me personally, I mean, if it's clear. Now, these new chatterbaits with the clear blades and whatnot, the new jackhammers, I know I don't have one. I know
blade.
Alex has one.
Yeah, I have one. I hate it.
But
No
I
offense,
mean,
man.
I see that being a clear water bait, but the water clarity, we've got into the backs of creeks where it's muddy. I mean, chatterbait would definitely excel. But the spinnerbait in certain areas, I mean, it's like you're saying, when it feels right, it's what I'm going with. Yeah. But a lot of what we've been fishing personally preferred the spinnerbait, just like what you're holding.
So, you got something else to add, Gavin?
To kind of touch on what you were saying, I mean, basically, the spinnerbait, yeah, I mean, it kind of appears as like, a small bait of...
Yeah, like a little
like
bait
a
ball.
Small little school of bait, and multiple, and it can pulsate, kind of like a school would do if it was being ambushed. Meanwhile, throwing a chatterbait, it's kind of like one little like shad being like targeted. And
yeah, just like this fish needs to die. Like I just need to eat
it. He's all by himself. He's easy. He's an easy target. Yeah. So
we got an interesting topic. I'm gonna say this too. Taking this back now. It's so hard to say. I will say, for the most part, I like a spinnerbait better in the fall because bait's smaller. I like a chatterbait better when the bait in the springtime. Now, here's an interesting thing on watercolor that you were talking about, Brennan, is for the most part, really clean water, I like a spinnerbait. That being said, grass involved, I kind of tend to lean towards chatterbait because I like to look like a bluegill going through the grass. That being said, I've burned a spinnerbait over grass and caught him doing that too. But for the most part, I'd say clearer, I like a spinnerbait. Dirtier, I like a chatterbait. But extreme mud, really bad water, I like to go back to a double Colorado spinnerbait.
Yeah.
I think that's more vibration than a chatterbait, and you can fish it. This is the biggest thing, a lot slower. So you're putting off a ton of vibration, going at a much slower speed than a chatterbait. You can call them fish in, and they can find it if it's further away from them. So that's where I'm at.
I like those.
We got deep into the fucking X's and O's
that was great. That was awesome.
We don't get into the X's and O's that deep.
That
deep.
was good. That was good. While we're on the topic of spinnerbaits,
Brennan's got a story to tell.
Brennan's got a story.
All right. So, for the viewers at home, this right here, this is not normal. So, if you don't know what a spinnerbait looks like,
connected to that.
it shouldn't look like this. So, shout out to my not sponsored that I used to buy all the time, Strike King.
Getting into it.
Not an endorsement.
Yeah, no endorsements here. But anyways, I do not fish for smallmouth. I've never fished for them. Never came up here to where they're prevalent. So I came here wanting to catch a smallmouth because when I was here in October, I caught an 8-incher, and that was the only smallmouth I caught the whole week.
And it was still the most fun ever.
It was a fun little fish, but anyways, first day we're here, we're practicing in kind of like a little tiny little cut. We'd never been in there before, so Alex got hung up on something. So we're pretty close to a bank. I mean, I'd say maybe 20 feet away from this little tiny pocket. It was like a little corner. So meanwhile, I'm like, well, I might as well just cast my spinnerbait out here, maybe see if something's sitting underneath. There was like this whole like kind of like wash up of like sticks. I don't know. It was like a little mat, like a stick mat. So I cast it right in front of it. It maybe had like 5-6 feet of water underneath it. Maybe 2 cranks in, I just get hammered by a fish. I'm like, oh yeah, here we go. I got one. This is like the first fish of like the week. I'm like, okay, I got a fish. I got a bite. And he's dogging me, so I kind of realized, okay, this is a smallmouth. I thought he was maybe like a pound and a half. So he's like dogging me pretty good and bring him around the back of the boat. And Alex is up front. And he's like, do you need help? Like, do you need the net? I'm like, no, I'm good. Because I'm like, oh, it's just like a pound fish. I'm just going to flip this thing in the boat. It'd be fine. So anyways, I didn't see the fish at all. I feel him coming up, and I just like straight go to flip him into the boat. And I think my line snaps because I hear whoosh, my rod goes flying in the air. The fish goes flying out of the air, hits the top rim of the boat. I mean, if it was 2 inches to the left, it would have been in the driver's seat of this boat. And at this point, I realized it was not a pound. It was probably like a 3-pound smallie. Jeez. And Alex, he's never seen me upset. I don't get upset a lot.
The expression on Brennan's face. If you want to talk about disappointment, he sat there, pure silence.
I was more disappointed than getting turned down for prom. Like it was
disappointment. It was bad.
I sat down on the back of the boat and I just stared in the distance. I'm like, I was so upset.
But redemption
was coming around the corner. But anyways, I was looking at the bottom of the boat, right in the net, and he's blowing me hold. Here's half of a spinnerbait. When at the time my knot was still attached to this, so like my knot was good, the line was good. 12-pound mono. Apparently, a spinnerbait will break before the mono will. But I mean,
them smallmouth are just built different.
They are built different. I learned that the hard way the first day. So
yeah. I caught.
Yes, better than tournament day, but I mean, it took us a solid day and a half before I got another fish that made up for it.
Yeah. I was throwing my sneaky special, I can say it because the tournament has already started, chartreuse spinnerbait, straight chartreuse, folks. When you're going smallmouth, do that. My special chartreuse spinnerbait today, and that thing was getting train wrecked, and it was getting straightened on every fish I caught on it, including the little ones. Bryson, come on back.
Come on back.
Everybody's here except you.
And
Brandon. I don't know where Brandon went. He's showering.
Just in case they're listening, shout out to True South's Custom.
There we go.
I had Lewis bring me a few spinner baits when he came down.
And
I had a bad experience with striking. The first thing he said when I called him and told him that the spinner bait broke, he asked what it was, and it was not a True South. So he brought me a few. Pull up to the first point. I mean, I just tied it on first thing in the morning. Pull up to the first point, like we're fishing right there. Probably 3 casts later,
Bingo,
boom,
bango,
got
bongo.
one, and it was a keeper. So I was pretty
yeah.
happy about it. So
Heck
all right,
yeah.
we can keep going back.
Get the whole house in here.
Some of y'all need to pop in over here.
Yeah, we got room over here. Bring it
They
in.
are crammed in over there.
Just don't trip over the cord.
Bryson, how you going to catch them tomorrow, buddy?
That's plain and simple. Drop shot in 50 feet.
Brandon.
So this is interesting. Brandon and Ian may be the sole boat in the house going out tomorrow morning targeting heads.
Yeah.
Is that a fact?
That is a fact. That's a fact. But all we can.
Get in here.
There's no other way.
We're going large.
Wait,
head
we
hunting.
going after largemouths, buddy.
Ooh, baby.
Oh, boy.
Bryson's going to go wax on some 2-pound.
Smallmouth's the backup plan.
They own them.
That's all you gotta say? All right, so I got a story. I've been
Go for
holding
it.
out for this one because I've been dying to get your reaction to this. So it's day 2. I'm out there practicing, and I'm coming around this cove, and I see something sitting in a tree, and I'm like, "What is this?" Like it was all like dark. I'm like, someone left like a rubber like tube in a tree. I'm like, this is fascinating. I gotta get close to this. So I get closer, and y'all have seen the famous video of frog on a log. I now present to you, gentlemen, snake in a tree.
How about that?
Yeah, it was just hanging out in the tree. I was like, oh, that's a snake. And yeah, I sat
Throw
there.
that up on the video?
Yeah, I'll put that up in the video. It'll be somewhere over here. But whoa!
Drinking.
So yeah, that was pretty fun to see. And the other highlight of my week was Alex and I taking my boat out on day 2 of practice. And for those of you that aren't here, there's crap floating everywhere. And the ramp that we put in, semi shout out to Jamestown Marine. They want us to pay $5 to put in here, and they can't clean the dang ramp. That thing looks like a trash heap.
Have any of you guys paid?
No.
No.
No. When I showed up the first day and the ramp looked like that, I'm like, no, I'm not. Get someone
not
out here
worth
to clean
my
this.
$5.
I had to wade in the water just to clear it out of sticks. And I sat there for like 5 minutes pushing trees, full-size trees out of the way just to get a boat.
Yeah, the first day that we practiced out of here, Alex backs my truck in. He backs it in, and the minute he backs it in, the wind blows, and there's like 4 trees just floats onto my trailer. So I had to take the trolling motor, troll up to my trailer, put it over the logs, and troll backwards to pull the trees out. I put the boat on a trailer. We pull it out, and this old guy standing there, of course, he could have said something earlier. He goes, hold on. And I'm like, what? He's like, you got a tree under your trailer. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, there's a tree wedged under your trailer. And we get out, and sure enough, there's like a 7-foot log between the axle of my trailer and the frame, and it's wedged. And the only way Alex and I could get it out was to take my like steel motor mate and just start beating the crap out of the log to get it out.
Jesus.
But
Yeah.
we got it.
Oh, we got it. I came back and it looked like I dragged the forest with me, but
Tell you what, that hill helped me lose some weight. After all those little Debbies.
After all them little Debbies I've been eating.
Yeah,
Boat snacks.
Bryson is quite jealous of Bryan College.
How's that? Oh, yeah, they're sponsored by Little Debbie.
Brandon knows.
Yeah.
These boys are quite angry about that. Anyways, I'll get back on fishing. I will say about this tournament, if the water was as clean as it was in October, this tournament would be a freaking shootout. The fact that the water's muddy is making it a lot tougher than it should be.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of fish on beds that nobody's seeing.
Oh yeah, I agree. But I think it's got to be like that every spring, right?
Yeah, I would think so.
I feel like you can't come here with all the rain and
Yeah.
water rising without all the silt.
That's
and
true.
Trees.
Like what the old man at the dock.
Yeah, the old man at the dock.
It's time
Get
of
up in the
year.
back of the creek.
Yeah, he goes, yeah, it's that time of the year.
To take us back away from fishing, I saw beavers building a beaver dam today.
Anyone else got any cool stories?
Has anybody seen any of them freaking goats?
Brennan can speak about.
Trey did see a goat today, and he said that it absolutely reeked, and he was like 30 foot away from it. I personally want to get off the boat and fight a goat.
Brennan,
See it on his story, on the college story? I did.
Brennan, why don't you talk about what we saw the other day?
Yeah, I saw a pretty cool animal. I mean, we were looking for all kinds of stuff. Not gonna lie, we were waiting to see the goats. We were waiting to see like a black bear. We're cruising up a creek, and I'm sitting here looking over at the bank. I'm like, what the hell?
Alex, stop!
Yeah, I'm like, stop! There's a mountain lion. There's a full on like I don't know how big these things are, but it was a freaking big cat standing on the side of this mountain with like a squirrel in its mouth, just looking at us. And I'm like, dude, it's a freaking mountain lion. Alex didn't see it because we were like moving. He didn't see it. I'm like, it's right there. And he's like, oh, sure enough, it just goes like diving into this little cave in the side of the mountain. I'm like, holy crap, that was cool as hell. But I don't know. We didn't see any goats. Sorry, Gavin. I mean, maybe if we see one, we'll call you and you can just come.
If day one goes bad for me and Bryson, maybe day two we go goat hunting. You know,
I'm down. You'd be on that goat pattern.
Well,
Anybody got anything to add?
Any
Comments?
add?
Ian looks like he's got a comment.
Brandon and I found like a whole like school of gar in the back of a creek. I mean, we're just fishing and we're like, Brandon's like, you see that? And I was like, what? He's like, you see that? That's a gar. And then we just go back there and there's like 100 of them just sitting. I was like, you know what? We ain't catching jack squat.
We spent 30 minutes trying to catch a gar. We paused practice from bass fishing, trying to catch the gars for 30 minutes.
I will say, the last few weeks, I've seen some wild things on the water. For those who don't know, we were at Santee last week.
Oh God, yeah.
You want to talk about some stuff you ain't never seen before? Alligators swim around that place like freaking birds.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
They're everywhere.
Everywhere, and they're huge.
So we go from alligators to freaking mountain lions to dang goats.
I
don't know what we're going to see next. St. Lawrence, you got those little minks running around.
I saw trout.
Yeah, you saw trout.
I saw trout while bass fishing. That's
caught a
never happened
striper.
before. Yeah, I caught a big striper on day one of
There you
practice.
go.
Had fun. That was a good time.
I wonder what we're going to see up in Michigan. There's got to be some different stuff up in Michigan.
Never been.
All I know is I'm going to have fun catching walleye at some point.
Yeah, we going walleye fishing, boys. Whoever's going to Michigan, we going walleye fishing.
Absolutely happening.
That's a plan. We're going to fill the cooler up.
I saw a thing in the booklet today that they gave us. The record walleye year is insane. It was. Don't quote me on it, but I think it was like 22 pounds or something, and I was mind blown. Yeah, and then I took a nap while Hank was talking.
I think on that note, does anyone have any comments or anything to add?
Good podcast, guys.
Well,
How about if you're looking for a cheap place to stay?
Yes, plug.
These cabins are pretty nice.
we'll plug.
I'll speak on that. Jamestown Marina. They have cabins. They have fishing cabins. They have a hotel, houseboats. You name it, they got it.
They don't have splitters.
No. They don't clean their. They don't clean
Bring
their
your
boat
own
ramps.
extension cord splitter. Lewis, your own.
They do have Wi-Fi there.
They do have
And it's actually decent Wi-Fi.
Yes.
Well, I mean,
It's-
we'll test it tonight. If this
it's-
podcast comes out on time, which it
Yeah.
should come out Thursday at 5, then Friday
Thursday at 5.
Friday at 5. My bad.
We're a little
I'm tired. Ooh. God, Friday at 5, then it means that we had good Wi-Fi and I could upload this. So
Nice.
All right.
Nice.
I have nothing else to add, Lewis.
well, on that note,
Prepared for a long walk.
we're gonna go make like Gavin and take a nap.
Yep.
I'm gonna put
Up for the night.
a weigh-in and listen to Hank talk while I go to bed. And we appreciate you guys tuning in,
Thanks, y'all.
and we'll see you next time.
Anybody got to sign off?
Catch fish, drink beer.
No.
What do you mean? No?
See you later, shitheads.
Drink beer, do good, folks.
Same thing.
And we'll see you on the next one.
Peace.
Bye.